I'd like to officially welcome you here tonight. We made it in just in time. It is absolutely pouring outside, so hopefully the program tonight will not only fill you up, but it will delay us long enough to where we'll get out dry a little bit later on. My name is Mark Schumacher. I work at Channel 10, and I've been asked to come up here a couple of times to Pompano Beach, and I always say yes, because I find that this city puts on some wonderful events that really hit you right where it counts, right in the heart. And I've had that opportunity a couple of times. And they asked me before we begin tonight, they said, could you say a couple of words, something maybe you've thought about dealing with today? And I found that inspiration at an event that I went to earlier today. It was one of the many prayer services. And up on an altar in Fort Lauderdale was a Muslim cleric, a rabbi, and a Christian minister. And they were holding this particular event. Initially, I went there figuring, well, this is good. It's very symbolic, yet it became much more than that, because as the entire service went on and they began reading from their individual scriptures, it was interesting that it felt as if they were all reading from the same scripture. And as this went on, there was a really unique connection. So afterwards, I walked up to all three men and I asked them, I said, it seems to me as if you're almost laying a groundwork today for a beginning. And the rabbi kind of looked at me funny, and he says, it's interesting you say that. He said, because in Judaism, he said, 1 year after there's a disaster, someone dies, he says, that's really when the official healing begins, the rebuilding begins, is at that 1 year point. And I thought, what a wonderful thing to mention tonight to all of you and to share with you, is the fact that as we sit here today remembering September 11th, 1 year later, and let's do that because we should never forget. Let's also make tonight the first step. After this year that's been just a blur to all of us, let's make it the first real strong step to heal in the long term, to make sure that what happened a year ago changes all of our lives in a substantive way. And I thought that was wonderful today, and that inspiration is something that I hope that you'll share as you leave here as well today. But let's begin. If you would all stand, please. I'd like to bring in the Honor Guard from the Broward Sheriff's Office and the Pompano Beach Fire Rescue, and they will present the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would join me in the words that mean so much to all of us, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
You may be seated. That was Patricia Bowes, by the way. She has performed not only with the Florida Philharmonic, but also with the Palm Beach Opera. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the mayor of the city of Pompano Beach, Bill Griffith, with tonight's invocation. Bill?
Good evening and welcome. Let us pray. It takes a special person to willingly risk his life for another, especially a stranger. Thank you for each of our nation's firefighters, and especially those in our community. Protect them as they protect us. Our police officers who protect and defend our peace, we give thanks, and we ask you to bless them and keep them safe. We ask for unity among your people. Help us all to draw closer to one another as we reach out in love to a hurting nation and world. We pray that you will place your hand of protection over those serving in our military. We ask you to bring them home safely to their families. Bless those who survived September 11th, and thank you. The hope we have in you is an anchor for our souls. Help us to cling to you in the midst of our darkness and find the ray of hope that will lead us to a brighter tomorrow. Amen. We have come together tonight to mark a terrible day, to reaffirm our strength and faith in this great country of ours, and to pay tribute to all those that have died for our freedom. Much has happened since the attacks of 9/11, and this country is now involved in a new kind of war against a new kind of enemy, terrorism. But these times bring not only dangers, but also opportunities. Let us take the opportunity tonight to come together as a community and mark the horrendous occasion with strength, commitment, and unity. On behalf of the City Commission, I am honored to extend a warm welcome as together we pay tribute to America in the fabulous city of Pompano Beach. May God bless America, and may God bless all of you here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I'd like to bring up now the acting fire chief in the city of Pompano Beach, Harry Small. Harry?
I'd like to first start out by thanking the community for the overwhelming amount of support and appreciation we've received in the last year. It's truly been overwhelming. Those of us in the fire service are reminded just how much faith you put in us and how important our responsibilities are, and we take it seriously, believe me. Over the years, Americans have often been viewed as a bit of an enigma to other people of the world. We have found ourselves frequently portrayed as independent, outspoken, critical, aggressive, and self-centered. People who have never experienced true freedom have had great difficulty understanding how a free nation can bond together in times of trouble. Periodically through history, this has resulted in America being underestimated by its enemies. Aggressors learned some harsh lessons from this during World War II and are learning them again now. The images that poured out to the world following last September, revealed the true nature of Americans and why this is the strongest country in the world. Yes, the world saw images of destruction, pain, suffering, and death, but they also saw images of bravery, sacrifice, compassion, and solidarity. The world witnessed a united people galvanized by these events and committed to survival. And they also saw international terrorists retreat in fear as a mighty nation pursued them. The images that follow are just some of the many that were projected out to the nation and the world. These images serve to remind us of who we are and what we stand for. Hopefully, these images have also helped convey the true nature of Americans to the rest of the world, and that they will understand what we mean when we say, "May God bless America."
don't know about the rest of you, but that just still takes my breath away. It's just, you see those pictures, and I don't know if you're like me, but I still have times when I just hope that I wake up and hope that it's still just a bad dream. Thanks for that presentation that made an impact on all of us, giving us the reason to remember. I want to bring up our keynote speaker right now, and I think when you talk about public service, I don't think you can find anybody better than our Attorney General Bob Butterworth. When you look at his background, starting from everything from an assistant state attorney to a county judge and a circuit judge, and he was Broward County Sheriff. He was then appointed on a statewide level and oversaw the FHP, and then, oh, by the way, for the last number of years, he's been our Attorney General since 1986. He's done a lot for the state of Florida. It's my pleasure to introduce Attorney General Bob Butterworth.
Thank you so very, very much for the very, very kind introduction. And thank you for inviting me to share this day with you. This morning, I witnessed the presentation of the colors by some school children. They walked in proudly holding the American flag. A year and a day ago, we would have saluted the flag as a matter of habit. But so much has changed. Somehow, those stripes and those stars capture what it means to be an American. And what is it? What is it to be an American? We don't have a common race. We don't have a common religion. We don't even have a common geography. What we have are common ideals. What we have are common values that bind us. Decency, honor, compassion, freedom. Ours is the only constitution on the earth that codifies the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not just the pursuit of pleasure, but the pursuit of a quality of life that comes from the pursuit of freedom. Remember today, after the attack, President Bush encouraged all of us to stand up and carry on with our lives. He encouraged us to go to see a baseball game, go to a theater, go to a mall. He was calling on us to again begin pursuing happiness. He was calling on us to show the world our freedom, to show our spirit, to show our true freedom. It was not a false bravado. It was being an American. That's what those men who hid in caves did not understand. You can deal America a body blow, but you cannot dim the light of freedom. You can cowardly kill thousands, but you cannot break our spirit. You can defy, but you cannot deny us. You cannot deny us our freedom. You cannot deny us our liberty. And ultimately, you cannot deny us our happiness. On a morning show earlier this week, I watched a burn victim from 9/11 telling how her life had changed. And it hit me in a way that was different from the way I felt a year ago. Her scars are not unlike our nation's scars. None of us will ever be quite the same again. This invincible nation showed a vulnerability we had not noticed. It is taking us some time to again find our happiness, This one-year anniversary reopens the wound. It hurts again. The wound is still there. Yet today we stand tall, but with a few scars. Some of us have managed to heal more than others. The past year, the New York Times has done an amazing job of telling the stories of the victims. Mothers who lost daughters, families who lost fathers, friends who lost friends, and their stories are our stories. They were teachers, parents, travelers, dreamers, cooks, couriers, lawyers. They were America. They were white, black, brown, yellow. They were Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist. They were young, they were old. They were big, they were small. They were America. They were proud and strong, and weak and in pain. They were America. We lost some 3,000 people, but the truth is, we must multiply that number by 5, 6, 10, or many more times, because each of those people who perished left loved ones who will never completely heal, but even in death, our spirits soared. So many of our people who died trying to help others. If there is one shining light that came out of this tragedy, it is that we fully appreciate the heroes and the sheroes, who are firemen and policemen. These men and women were charging up the stairs when others were dashing down. When those towers fell, we lost real heroes. I've had the honor and opportunity to wear a badge most of all my life. And I've watched hundreds of times as men and women in our fire and police departments put our safety before theirs. These men and women are underpaid and for too long underappreciated, but no more. I'll never forget, after 9/11, watching people applaud when a fire truck rolled by. That's what is so right about America. I'll never forget the sense of community after 9/11. Neighbors hugging neighbors, when the day before it would have been little more than a nod in the driveway. Let us not lose that sense of community, because united we stand. Those children stood together, holding the flag this morning. Those children who walked in the flag will grow up in a world different than you and I. But like all of us, their world changed a year ago. But what they will share with our generation is life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness. As for the past 365 days, our prayers, thoughts, and hopes go out to the families of the victims. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you very much, Mr. Attorney General. I'd like to change the pace just a little bit right now. Have a special performance right now from singer, dancer, and performer Peter Burke. Peter?
There's a calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of a rolling wind can be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. There's a time for everyone if they only learn that the twisting kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. There's a rhyme and reason to the wild outdoors when the heart of this star-crossed voyager beats in time with yours. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to rest. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. Good evening. My name is Peter Burke, and I consider it an absolute honor and pleasure to be here with this memorial this evening. And I must tell you that I worked in New York 15 years, and one of the things that we all talked about in the theater was during times of trouble, you go to the theater, you go to the comedy, the tragedy, and the musical theater, because whether you know it or not, when you leave, you've learned a lesson. And the most important thing is, when you've left the theater, you go out stronger than ever, and I know that's what's going to happen this evening, so I'm glad you all came tonight, and again, it is my honor. Mr. Music? God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Everybody sing along. God bless America. America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. It's wonderful. Thank you very much. We have one more special guest tonight before we let you go. This is an innovative artist and entertainer who has performed nationally and internationally. It's my pleasure now to introduce Shoni.
blames the one before and all of their frustration go beating on your door. You know that I'm a prisoner, Father held so dear. Know that I'm a hostage to all his hopes and fears. Just wish I could have told him in the living years. Crumpled bits of paper filled with imperfect thoughts, stilted conversations. I'm afraid that's all we got. You say you just don't see it, says it's common sense. You just can't get agreement in the present tense. Talk a different language, talking in defense. Say it, say it, say it loud. Say it clean. You can listen as well as you hear. It's too late when we die, to admit we don't see our ultimate. So we open up the quarrel between the present and the past. We only sacrifice the future. It's the bitterness that lasts. So don't give to the fortunes that sometimes seem as fate. Have a new perspective on a different day. If you don't give up, you don't give in, it may just be okay. Say it, say it, say it loud. Say it clean. You can listen as well as you hear. It's too admit we don't see eye to eye. When my father passed away, I did not get to tell him all the things I had to say. Oh, I caught his spirit later that same year. And oh, I heard his echo in my newborn baby's tears. I just wish I could have told him in the living years. Say it, loud. Say it clear, or say it so clear you can listen as well as you hear. It's too late when we die, to admit we don't see eye to eye. Say it loud, say it clear, oh say it so clear we can listen as well as we hear. It's too late when we die to admit we don't see eye to eye. Thank you very much. You know, when this terrible tragedy happened, I went to my room and I closed the door and I sat down and I wrote lyrics to a song. And I know I'm going to read it for you, and I know you felt the same way. And it goes like this. I titled it, America, My Country, a Pinball Madness, September 11th. I sit here in my room and the silence is all around me. I can only imagine what it might have been like to see and feel the touch of fear. Silver birds flying in the sky to destinations of destruction. Human sacrifice in the name of holy horror. Cement and steel crashing down all around. Fragments of disbelief falling on bodies of unknowing innocence. What have we here? A nightmare? A bad dream? A bad movie? A non-reality scene? Please pinch me, hit me. I'm numb. This isn't really happening, is it? It's a non-fiction game between two sides, the good, the evil, who will die. The tug of war is on. It's a pinball madness, just a pinball madness. Do not mistake the power of faith, the power to carry on. My nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Who will take the fall? Not us, America, my country. Stand tall. We will hunt for evil in all dark corners, caves and mountains, rivers and shores, houses and stalls. We will eliminate terror, and America will conquer all. Upwards as the redwoods, wide as the rivers, a forever ongoing sky. We will keep our spirits high. We will rid the world of evil, and in the end give a grateful sigh and never ask why. Thank you. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of a grave, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea. Oh, from sea to shining, shining sea.
Thank you, Shoni. And I want to thank you all for coming on behalf of everybody who put this together. That's not only the City of Pompano Beach, the City Commission, City Manager, the staff here who work so hard. We appreciate that. Should let you know, by the way, that at 7, of course, they started Unity Day at the amphitheater, if you have time for that. And I think in a very fitting way to show that life moves on, if you'd like to stay here, there's a budget hearing that follows this particular event. God bless you all. Thank you so much.